Well, hello, my friends. Checking out Dos Ogros, as they would say in Portugal. All right. Twin Ogron. That's the name. Really, once again, privileged to test. It was a ton of fun. I actually got to heal this one, so a little bit less staring at the boss's feet, a little bit more looking at mechanics. Really cool. This is actually a really interesting encounter. This is going to be the third to the last encounter in High Mall, and as such, it is, it's got some pretty interesting stuff going on. You're going to see a myriad of encounter mechanics. Mostly, if we die to them, it's our own fault, but at this point, we had refined things pretty well. So basically, the one thing that was really hurting was with the fire, all right? It's very akin to Tortos in the fact that it just does what it wants. There's no real way to counter it. Like, you just move and react to it, but it kind of just does what it wants. Now, one way we did manage it, we don't counter it, but we actually allow it to be dealt with much easier. So there, I guess it's kind of like a glitch or a bug, I don't know, but he throws both fire pits right on top of each other, and this makes most of the room unaffected. Also, you'll see him doing staunch AoE damage to it as well. That's the same boss does both of those mechanics at once. So immediately, if the boss is meant to start doing that, you'll have to deal with some good AoE damage going out, and then also keep an eye on anybody who's like accruing stacks, not of guap, of actual fire damage, which is unfortunate. But then he does the whirlwind. That boss is pretty much like the dangerous one. That whirlwind's massive. It's a lot of damage as well. It stacks as well. A lot of stacking stuff in this fight. And now we're dragging them together. The one that we hadn't been focusing on much. He does an interrupting shout there. We surpass that. And then the other one does a damaging. There it is right there. And it's going to increase the damage we take. So we all stack up to make sure we can split that easily. If only one person get hits, I believe it's like an increased duration. So if only one person is near the boss when he does that, they're going to have that debuff for like the whole fight, basically. But by all stacking, we assure that it's split to 30 seconds only. Then they're going to both drop some rocks. They're going to knock you around a little bit. That's pretty much all it does. It does a good amount of AoE damage as well. The larger rocks are certainly avoidable. You'll want to make sure you're out of the center of that as much as possible, and the smaller rocks cannot be. And then it's rinse and repeat. The fire and the stomp thing he's done, and then the other guys charging around, all this. It's a pretty crazy encounter, honestly. The fact that I can barely keep up as the mechanics are happening talking about them is interesting. But the fire, if you guys can put this in a good position, it really becomes a non-issue. The stacks it does are pretty substantial, but it's not too bad as long as people are aware. So there you go. You see Sai dies. No surprise there, but he immediately onks as to make it look like he never died. Just pro play. I mean, this is just super califragilisticexpialidocious play from Sai right there. And that's it. The boss had an immense amount of health, so if you're looking at the boss's health and wondering why they're pretty much not moving, it's because I'm going to go ahead and say I think they doubled it. People said they actually downed this boss. They don't share health. At least they didn't. People said they actually downed this boss and took them almost 12 minutes. I don't think they want that. I'm going to go ahead and say a 6-minute encounter is pretty comfortable, so wouldn't be surprised if a doubled boss pool was where it is, or maybe even like 1.5 times, but that's pretty much all we need to see. The whole footage I have is about 8 minutes for this pull, but it's literally the same thing. You'll just notice here that the fire, it can't be, it's not easy to control, but if the boss is all the way to one side of the room, then the other side of the room is very, very safe, if you understand me. So if you guys have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. This was a very fruitful day of testing, so hopefully these videos help you guys out. Once again, it's not a strategy guide, but just something to take a look at the encounter, and then you see I get interrupted. So that's that.